Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, CNBC News Radio, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Audible, iTunes, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Spreaker, Rumble, Tiki Live, Podchaser, and more. I am Dr. Marissa, and it is Friday, and you know what that means. It's Fired Up Friday with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Caughie.
It is a wonderful Friday. I love doing this particular series. We get to talk about whatever we want to talk about. And today's topic, I'm going to let Cynthia introduce. But before we do that, Cynthia, I mean, she's so many things. And I don't know if you are new to this specific series, but she is an entrepreneur. She has her own restaurant in Santa Rosa. Is it Santa Rosa, California? She's a mom of 3 beautiful girls. She has a book out, You Can Do Hard Things. She has a workbook that's with that. She's so many things. And sometimes I don't exactly introduce her with all of that. So this morning I decided that I would give it the entire enchilada. So please welcome to back to my studio, Cynthia Caughie. How you doing, darling?
I am good. I'm fired up. It is Friday. I'm excited.
I was talking to Paul. Oh, good hair day. Yeah, very nice. I was talking to Polly, like this week went faster than I can remember, weeks going by. I was a day behind, which usually doesn't make it help, but I'm just so delighted. Time flies when you're having fun. So
right.
Obviously, I'm having some fun. But before we get too far into the small talk, let's go big and do our gratitude sandwich, having breakfast with us, taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich in the morning. Gratitude is Cynthia's favorite tool, as well as mine. And we like to begin the show by exercising your ability to focus on what is good in your life. That's the top of the bun. So, Cynthia, what's good in your life?
I actually have a gratitude journal. It's cute. Look.
Oh, cute. Hold it up again. Hold up. Wait. I didn't see that.
It says, be the hero of your journey. It's just a cute little lined book, but I liked it. And I've got lots of gratitude in there. But one of the very first things that I always say in my gratitude journal is I'm grateful for today. So I am grateful for today.
I am grateful for the journey of days, the joyride of my life, that every day I have pretty much lived to the absolute fullest. So I have no regrets.
Yes. I am grateful for my health. To live each day with vigor is what I say, because I need that, that energy.
I like that word, vigor.
Yes.
Yes. It brings up to mind rigor mortis. Don't ask me why, which is the opposite of vigor.
Exactly.
Okay, it's going to be one of those days. Hold me down. I am grateful that I live in California, the Sunshine State, and I just love it here.
It is beautiful. I am grateful for my car. I never say that, but when somebody taught me about gratitude, they said, be grateful tonight and then what you wake up with in the morning. So if I didn't have a car, I'd be really upset. So I'm grateful for my car. And this car, I absolutely love. It's my
What
favorite
is it?
color. It's a Toyota Highlander. It's big enough for everything, but it's fast. It's got a moonroof, and it's my favorite color, red. All the things, and a good stereo.
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna have to go then because my car's name is Panda. It's a little white with black top convertible Mazda Miata.
Oh,
Shout out to Capistrano Mazda, and it looks like a panda. And the top, so I am flirty sometimes with my story. I'll say I'm going topless again, and then do the shot of no top on the car. Thank you for the thumbs up. And while I see them rolling in, eyeballs are rolling in. If you are not driving, you can get us on your phone through several streaming avenues: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. That way you can not just listen to our voices, but actually see us in action. That is I'm grateful. That's I think we're on the last one, maybe not. I'm grateful that we get to stream live, that this is not pre-recorded. So that means too, oh, good, we have some comments. You can play along with us in taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich. Good morning, Cecilia Martinez. Beautiful to back at you. And you can put your gratitudes down and we can put them up on the screen. Is there one more gratitude, or are we on appreciation?
I could do another gratitude. I'm grateful for my sight. I say that all the time. I'm grateful for my sight, to see the colors of the world, and to watch my beautiful daughters grow up to be amazing humans. I write that every day.
That was 3. But anyways. No, that was 4. That was 4 eyes and 3 daughters.
Oh, well, in my gratitude journal, I think it's really important to root it. Like, I'm grateful for my sight, yes, but why? And the car, why? And health, why? And
okay. So. I'm grateful for my taste buds, because if I follow her rule, because I can enjoy the deliciousness of life.
Okay.
Beat that. No, I'm kidding. All right. That was the top of the bun. Moving to the bottom of the bun. Those of you who know Cecilia, you know the drill. The bottom of the bun is, what are 8 specific things that you appreciate about yourself, so that you're not walking around looking for love in all the wrong places, trying to get approval from people who are not able to give it to you. So for me, it's the foundation of happiness. If you can love yourself and care for yourself 88% of the time, then whatever happens else out there is not a big, hairy deal. So I'll start. I appreciate that I am self-aware of how I'm feeling in almost every moment, so that I can choose the best feeling thought. In case I'm not feeling good, I can feel better. And that's Abraham Hicks teaching.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I love self-awareness. It's one of the best things that I learned in my journey, and to reflect and become self-aware. So that was 2 for me. I appreciate that I reflect, and I appreciate that I am self-aware. So
beautiful. I appreciate my ability to communicate. I think I'm a pretty good communicator. I better be if I'm on stage as a motivational speaker, but I appreciate that ability. People ask me all the time, don't you get nervous? And, I don't know when the nervousness left. I can remember in the beginning, I would be like shaking. And then the more you do something, the more comfortable you get. And I think for me, I say, before I go on stage, before I speak on the show, I try to remember to say, speak through me. Don't let me get in the way. Let the words be thine and the voice be mine. And when I say that, I'm just a flute. I'm just a channel. I'm just a vehicle with which some inspired words are coming through.
I love that. I'm going to have to write that down after the show. But we're vibing today. I appreciate my communication. It is an art form for sure. And with different people, you take on different approaches, but I have learned. And so I appreciate the fact that I communicate. I'm not going to say very well because I'm still learning, but
You communicate very well, Cynthia. Own it. Own it.
I communicate well. Every day I learn and every day I get better. In all honesty, I mean, I appreciate that I'm willing to learn and grow. That's it. I'm done. That's all my for.
I appreciate that I know how to laugh easily and often. And that's Ralph Waldo Emerson's definition of success that I have adopted for my life, to laugh often and much.
I'm telling you, we're vibing today. I went to go see a movie last night and my girlfriend said, "Oh my God, I enjoyed listening to you laugh the whole time." I needed it. I wanted to go. Ticket to Paradise with George Clooney.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm going to go watch that.
It was so cute. It was great. I loved it. I needed it.
I will go see that tonight. I was trying to figure out which movie I wanted to see. So you just told me.
Go see it.
I will.
Love it. We're vibing.
I appreciate that. I think this is our last one. I appreciate that I love drinking creative juice. I love the feeling of being inspired by creativity. So I appreciate that I'm creative.
Man, if you are listening this morning, this is great. This is awesome. I'm loving the show. Everyone, I think it's a little bit better. I'm really excited. I'm fired up.
It's a good thing it's called Fired Up Fridays then.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Your last one. What do you appreciate?
I've done like 8.
Oh, okay, fine. In that case,
another one.
Okay, one more.
I forget now. My laughter. I like that one. I appreciate one that I can laugh at myself because I do often crack myself up. So I'm going to go with that. I like that.
All right. And there. Well, you do crack me up too. So it's back at you. I love when I can say something or do something to make people laugh. It's not that I'm trying to get their approval. I just love the sound of laughter. It truly is the best sound in the world. So there you go. Thank you for having breakfast with us. That was taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich. And I'm so loving all the eyeballs and the thumbs up that we're getting. Love getting the finger, not that finger, but the thumb. Thumbs up, and feel free to chat, comment, because today's topic is to commitment or not to commit. That is the answer. And Cynthia is going to tell us why we are talking about this today.
Well, it's just funny to me right now. I think we live in such, for lack of a better term, somebody called it microwave society, right? You want it right now, right? What's your commitment level? Well, what does the word even mean? I did a reel yesterday, and this is how I came up with the topic because I think it's really, really important. And for me, it stemmed from not the relationship, right? Not like the commitment in a relationship, right? And in all honesty, she always says, Dr. Marissa always says, look at she always says to me, see, she always says to me, I don't mean it to get personal. She says. But it just happens. So anyway, commitment, I'm not there. I don't have that word. I'm not like, you know what I mean? I don't use it because to me, it means something, right? So some people, it means nothing. You can just spout the word commitment and yep, just because you say it doesn't make it so. So yesterday I was talking about what is your commitment level? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you? Pretty sure the word itself means a 10. So, but in this, right, in this society, it seems as though there's a sliding scale to the word commitment. What does it really mean?
And traditionally, the reason why I ask her, because you've already shared on the show that you're dating someone, so it's not like, I'm pulling the covers on something. So, and I do, because I'm just curious, how's it going? I tease her sometimes that I'm living vicariously through her because she's having this relationship. I'm still happily divorced and haven't quite worked up the desire to put my toe in that dating pool yet. And so when she first said, I want to talk about commitment, of course I went to, and I'm always wanting to get personal. And she's like, I don't want to get personal. So that's why she was laughing her ash off earlier, just so you understand the inside joke. We don't want you to feel like you're not, part of this. And
right.
So she thinks it's funny. But anyways,
I do think it's funny.
Love you, Cecilia. She actually, if you missed when she came on for coaching. Cynthia, I don't know if you saw that show, but it was a really good session where, I got her from being committed to a marriage that was not necessarily working out to start at being committed to herself. And I guess that's my reaction to commitment. I think, as you said, it's a 10. It means a 10, but I think that it reflects, it changes depending on what the object of commitment is. So on relationships, in the old days, no, I'm not talking about yours. I'm just talking about in general, because
in general.
In general, now don't get defensive here. In general, when you say the C word, everybody knows you're talking about commitment. And traditionally, the belief system is that women are way more ready to commit than men are. And that's why, how long you've been going out? 5 years. When are you getting married? I don't know. I want to. He doesn't. He's afraid of commitment. So that's usually how that context comes up. But Cynthia wants to expand the word and the context, just to talk about, to get the spotlight off of her, and to generally, what do we mean by commitment? So I'll just say for me, commitment means I want to use every atom of my being to do all that I can towards what that thing, person, event is. So if I'm committed, I'm going on a game show on Monday. I can't say what it is. We're taping, but because it's a trivia show, I'm committed to going after the jackpot, which is 10K. So because I'm committed to that, I went through all the hoops to get to that point. I also am practicing on trivia apps every single day to prepare myself for that event. So for me, commitment means I'm not just going to do something. I'm going to do everything in my power to be the best at that. And I'm very competitive. And so, when I say I'm going to do something, it's going to happen, which 88% of the time is a good thing. 12% of the time it's a bad thing, because I don't have control over everything. So I've learned that I can, do the best that I can with the resources I have, with the time that I have, and then let the rest go. How's that?
It's great. I think that's an awesome depiction of it, of what it's, what it's meant to be. But my question is that really what it means today? Because I found a lot of times, so when I use the word commitment, and when I was thinking, and what I was talking about yesterday in my reel, was the commitment to me, to self-development, to being the best version of me. And how do I do that? And what do I do? And where do I go? And there's a commitment level. I know a lot of coaches, and they put out a lot of content, and a lot of people who say they're committed to something, they'll put money in it, they'll buy a book, they have self-esteem because it sits on their shelf and they don't actually read it.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. And then you're just like, well, what are you really doing? I mean, are you interested, or are you committed to something? There's a big difference. And for me, the differentiator is the priority, because it better be all the way at the top. Now, sometimes I don't always know how to get to that part, right? We got to learn. If it's new, if let's just say it is a relationship, maybe it's a friendship relationship and there's somebody new in your life, but you like this person, and then it turns into the person, your other relationship. What if it's a romantic relationship, and then learning what that other person is like? The commitment, when I use the word, is the looking for and to be the best version of, like, on that level. Like, it's all the way up here. It's not I'll take it or leave it. It's not maybe tomorrow I'll do better. You know what I mean? It's giving it the time, attention, detail, heart that needs to be the top priority, because it is a commitment. And are you committed to it? Are you committed to it? And so again, one of mine was to myself, my self-development, who I am. And that is how it started the conversation.
So what I hear you say is that if you are committed to something, you actually have to prioritize with time. And for sure. And that is why I am not in a relationship.
And that's a great point.
Because I have not made the time, because I know that I would love to think that I have 48 hours a day, but I only have 24, and something's got to give. And the last time I dated someone, they said, I don't mind being priority number 2 or 3 after your kids, or but being priority 10 is not going to cut it. And kudos to him. I wouldn't want to be with someone who couldn't move me up the priority scale to top 3. But I couldn't do it. It was not important enough for me to stop, and this is horrible, but I'm a public entity. I'm a personality. I'm a social media influencer. And so when we're having dinner, I do, a little clip or whatever it is. And that's just what I do. It's part of my job. It's part of my brand. And I liked him, but not enough to not do that during a meal. So I wasn't committed to him. Now, whether I would meet someone who I felt like it was it's a horrible way to say it, if it's worthy of it, but if it's tantalizing enough for me, then I think I would do that. But yeah.
I could go 2 different
I know.
ways. Well, right? You want to do it. So at this particular juncture in your life, do you want to do that? And you, right, we've talked about it a little bit. You're shaking your head. No, it's not necessarily something that you want to do. And so when I talked a little bit earlier about the microwave society, right? I think the younger generation doesn't know the commitment level. That's just my opinion, because everything is throwaway. I'll get a new one, this, that, and the other. And so the commitment part of it, I think, is such a huge thing for them, right? I shouldn't say them. I mean, there are times when I have it too, where I'm just like, oh, well, either, and it's the want. I think it has to go with the root of the want, right? If you find something you want, or you want to be committed to it because something hurts, right? If you're trying to change something, you're committed to something, like just say losing weight. Let's just say losing weight. You are also on a weight loss journey. I understand. Yep. And so you're committed to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which means on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you?
Probably a 9, because I would be like at goal weight now if it were a 10. But I give myself a little, like when those butter tarts in Canada, and some mornings I need a break. And, but the commitment means last night I got back from the Belinda Carlisle concert, and she was amazing. I forgot to put her in my gratitude list. Oh my God. I was so impressed. Definitely reaching out to her to see if she wants to come and promote her tours, because she is 64 and amazing doing all those songs. She was the lead singer of the Go-Go's. But anyway, so I got back at, I didn't get to bed till 1:30, and I had the show this morning. And normally this is my day to get up and do 20 minutes on the bike and then do laps in the pool. And I did not at 6:20, I did not feel like getting up, and I just rolled out. That's commitment, because I know that I want to continue this. And I'm 31 pounds down from my all-time high, and 28 pounds down from Valentine's Day. So yes, that means that no matter what, I'm going to do the things, even if I don't feel like it. And so there's my qualification for, what commitment means to me is I'm going to do it even when I don't feel like doing it. I use the gospel according to Nike, just do it. So for me, that's commitment.
And part of that's discipline,
Discipline.
That's right. You've built a habit. You know what the goal is. You want to do it. And it does get a little easier. There are those days you don't want to do it. But yes, your commitment to that has been, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. It reminds me, if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on the show today, it is Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Caughie.
And we're here talking about commitment. No, we're not talking about having you or I committed to an asylum, but we are talking about the meaning of commitment and how it has changed. So I've got 2 ways to go here too. So just remind me to talk about the younger generation, because I want to bring up Michael Phelps, because I got to share a stage with him years ago, and his definition of commitment was one that affected me. He said that the question was on stage, what makes you different than your competitors? Like you are, all-time gold medal, all-time, how did you get that? Mm-hmm. And he said, all of my competitors work out 6 days and rest on the 7th. Mm-hmm. I knew that if I wanted to be above them, then I would have to do 7 days. I didn't want to do it,
right?
But I did it. So that was his commitment. I thought that was a great, example of what it means to go that extra mile to make sure it's done. Now, when you're overcommitted, if you have too many things that you unrealistically think that you can apply yourself 100% or 90%, that gets you into trouble too.
Mm-hmm. I found that a couple of times because I like to do a lot of things. One of the things that you just said that reminded me of a quote that I like is, what is commitment? It's doing the last 10% like nobody else will do. Not everybody, 88% of the people do 90%. And that last 10% is that commitment level, that 10 on the scale of 1 to 10. That's your commitment level that says, I'm going to do this. This is where I'm going. And that's why, when you're committed to it.
I'm going to come back and I'm going to disagree with one thing. And that
it wouldn't be Fired Up Friday without it.
Oh, that's funny. I just made that connection. I've never made that connection before. That fired up sometimes means that we actively disagree, which makes it a little fiery, which is good because you have red hair. Maybe I should like get a little red streak in here for my hair too. But anyways,
it would be fabulous.
Thank you. So young people, most young people, the perception is that exactly what you said, that they don't have that level of commitment. It's difficult to put a fire under their ash because they have a different set of BS belief systems about commitment. And I would like to suggest that it is not because they're not committed. It is not because they don't have that ability to do something all the way through. But I believe that one of the reasons why we're seeing this real difference in the generation is because the pendulum, wow, I just had a deja vu about this, that we were talking exactly about this. Woo! That in the past, the generations before them, ours, ones before that, baby boomers before that, the emphasis was so much on accomplishment and striving and hitting the goal and doing that and achieve and get and do that you end up in do that the pendulum and they watched that generation work themselves to the bone, into the ground, into an early death, into this place of, I hate my job. They watched their parents go to jobs that you couldn't stand and then come all the way and said, I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy my life and balance out. But what happens is it looks like they're not committed. So I wanted to that has been my experience with many young people, is that they're committed, just not to what we traditionally see as things to be committed towards.
Well, and let me piggyback off that for just a second. You said something and I was like, you're right. So belief system, right? Our BS, right? Where did it come from? The events in our life that give us, right, the experience in order to shape those, whether it was passed down, right, and we're experiencing it through a teacher, a parent, so on and so forth. But in the recent past, we've changed so many things, right, that their belief system is different than what you were just describing. Go, goals, achieve, get there, right? Now we're so relaxed. I mean, that's the way I see it. I mean, I work with teenagers every day. It's like you really got to give them that extra push, because either they were home or they're behind their screen or they're doing something, and then that's what they've grown accustomed to, and that's their belief system. So even sports, have you noticed or have you heard from, whether it be a school, one of your nieces or nephews, anybody like that, the level of commitment in sports these days? I even hear it because I'm home run pizza, and so teams come in and I'll ask, how's your son doing, how's this, how's that? Oh, they decided they didn't want to play anymore. So commitment level, right?
Yeah, but that's my point. And can you put me on your? I didn't know you were on Instagram this whole
That's right.
time.
I asked you to join. Okay, go. You're in, I think. Ready?
Better late
Go.
than never.
Yes.
But your judgment of young people not being committed to something that used to be the old way of growing up. You had to be in a sport, you had to, do what it was that your parents wanted, do what you in that old American dream, which you has led people to doing things that they don't necessarily want to do. And so the
Mm.
reaction of this generation to say, I don't necessarily want to do Pop Warner. I don't necessarily want to follow in the footsteps of what I watched as this very unhappy life of my parents or my friends' parents, and how they were extremely exhausted doing jobs and work that they didn't like to do. So it's not that they're not committed. They're not committed to something that we all just assumed you should be committed to. So I've watched young people be very committed to nonprofit work and activist work in a way that our generations never would. We waited until we were working to join some volunteer organization. I've never met so many young people who are so fired up over the injustices that that's what they're committed to. They don't want to spend their afternoons learning how to play football or, being in the Pop Warner stuff. They want to do something that gives them meaning. They don't want to go directly into schooling that, we don't even know if schooling is going to be in the same level of importance as it has been before, with all of the people who have been very successful without going through the traditional, Ivy League schooling. All of that is shifting. So I don't think it's fair to accuse young people of not being committed when it's just something different that they're committed to.
Well, I've got like a few things. I think there's a lot. I think there's I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. Life has changed. We've evolved. We've changed, right? And so I think some of it, though, those, in all honesty, I think that's rare. Like, out of 100 kids, how many do you think actually do the activist work and those kinds of things? Honestly, because I haven't found one.
Well, I meet a lot of them. So I don't know if it's because of my work and, the news coverage that I do.
Right.
But it's not even it's not the amount of activism. I think the judgment that when you're saying that kids aren't committed because they quit stuff, and I'm just saying that they quit stuff that isn't necessarily proven that is the best thing that they could or should have been committed to. So they may be committed to something else. So we judge kids for staying indoors and being on their computers and playing those games that we don't think is good for them, and therefore they're not committed. But they're very committed to playing those games. So commitment, again, I think they have the ability to stay focused. It's just not on the things that we traditionally think that are important for them to focus on.
I don't want to say it's a judgment. A lot of it is through experience that I've actually seen. So I don't want to judge people. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm being judgy. Okay, whatever. Like I don't believe it's a judgment, but the thing that I think gets me is the experiences, right? They experience different things. I think if they experienced like it used to be, go outside, play, have some interaction, our life would be different, right? We talked about service on one of our episodes, and I have seen that kids don't have that service level, that outgoing, right, want to do service, because it's I was behind the computer and I'm looking and I'm listening and I'm doing all this just one-on-one, right? And so I think that if they experienced differently, then they would be different, right? Just like anything, like you said, the BS, your belief system, it's what you have learned through experiences and or what somebody else passes down. So I think it can definitely improve, right, our way of life. Balance is always good, right? Too much of one thing or not enough of one thing.
And that's exactly my point, is that the pendulum, you know, to get to balance, it overswings, right?
Right.
So I think that what we're seeing is the pendulum that was way over too far on being overcommitted and committed to things that don't necessarily mean you're going to be successful, because that's where we got, you know, all the people who died, you know, who said, I wish I had spent more time with family. I wish I had spent more time, you know, exploring the world. I wish I had spent, you know, my father, when he was dying from lymphoma, the level of regret that he had just like completely blew me away. Like, I wish I had, you know, started this or done this business. I wish I had, but I couldn't. He was locked into that trajectory as a professor to do the things that he, you know, and then work, you know, and live for your weekends and, you know, live for your, when you come home. And that whole construct has led to an exhausted population. So now youngsters are like, I'm not doing that. Now, am I saying that you know, you spend the rest of your life indoors playing games or not caring about, you know, the world as a whole? No, but that it has to come there to swing back into the middle of balance. Right. That was my point. And if you've just tuned in, thank you so much for continuing with the thumbs up. We're on Instagram as well. I'm Doc Balance. Go to Cynthia Caughie. This show is sponsored by a product that you will get to anticipate when you see this. And Cynthia, you can give an update after that. But you're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and it is Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and
Caughie.
Here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Quick break. We'll be right back. Uh-oh.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and it's Fired Up Friday with Dr. Marissa and
Cynthia Caughie.
Here on KCAA AM 1050 FM 106.5 NBC News Radio. Also streaming on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and more, especially on my YouTube channel where you can free subscribe. Some of you are there right now chatting with us, and we appreciate that. It also has my red carpet playlist with interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, The Temptations, and more. So please do visit there as well. Go to Santa Rosa, to the restaurant, to enjoy that ooey gooey, wonderful looking knuckleball. How is that going? I know that you're bringing that to market. How's that process going?
I was saying on Instagram, that's a commitment. Like, that is number one priority. I've had a lot of moments where I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What's happening? Like, it's the commitment level to say that this is going to happen when a lot of people don't think it's going to, there's little voices. But for the most part, it's been very, very encouraging. And in myself, once in a while, I go, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is brand new, but the commitment level keeps me going because I know once I get there, it's going to be huge and everybody is going to love it and enjoy it. It's comfort food.
Sounds good. I can't wait to try some, but I have to get a little more, I have to make room for it in my weight scale. Because that does not look like when you break it open, the calories disappear, but it does look ooey gooey good.
But you got to try one.
I know. For sure. If I can have a butter tart, I can have a knuckleball, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking
balance.
It's all about balance.
That's right.
We have, 8 minutes left. So commitment. I don't see any questions about commitment. I do want to bring up one thing. Is it possible to change your mind about something that you are committed to? Because I think that if I set myself up and say everything that I said I was going to do, and I'm going to make it happen no matter what, and if it doesn't happen, then I am a failure because I haven't tried hard enough. I think that's a BS system that hurts us. And I think that the institution of marriage is a great example of, in the past, if you got a divorce, you were a failure because it meant that you were not committed to your marriage or to your children. And I have to say that I went through a horrific divorce, partially because I was the first in Seal Beach. I was the first family to go through the divorce, to the point where the kindergarten teacher, I found out later, shamed my younger daughter in class for the fact that we were going through the divorce and everybody knew about it. And so I want to be real clear that when you're committed to something like a marriage, having children, raising children, that if the commitment level changes towards that marriage, I have a rule that says, have you done everything possible to make that marriage work? Can you look in your children's eye and say, sweetheart, we love you. We both love you. That's never going to change. But we've tried everything to try to make ourselves better people with each other, and we can't do it, and we'll be better parents apart. If you can't say that, then you have not been committed to taking that to as far as possible. But if you have done that, then you can change your commitment. Your commitment to be a good parent doesn't mean you have to stay married. At the same time, I think that people are not committed enough to try everything before they leave the marriage. So there's my balance.
I like that. And of course, commitment level can change. Of course, your commitments can change. Life evolves, you evolve. But I really like your underlying basis of how you equate, have we tried everything? What is your commitment level, right? Have you done everything in your power? One of my biggest things, and I will preach it to the day that I die, is that you have got to reflect and see where your emotions come from. Because a lot of times the commitment level is skewed by emotion. No, that's a huge statement, but I experienced it very recently. And so, yes. And so, but it is an absolute fact and truth that if you're not looking inside yourself to see why, one, your commitment changed, right? What is it? What happened? Why is it changed? Or you look inside yourself to say, why do I want it to change? Why do I want it to become higher, right? On the commitment scale, depending on what it is. So there's a lot of things there, but you are always a work in progress. You are your reward. You have the power to change anything in your life, and you can do hard things. I had to bring it all the way back around.
Yes. I was going to say, where we've heard that before. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that the balance for me too is there's pushing and then there's allowing. So this is a law of attraction teaching that I try to live, is that sometimes when we are perfectionists, I'm an overachiever, recovering overachiever, and perfectionist, recovering perfectionist, is that we sometimes commitment to us is pushing. And when we push so hard, we're exhausted, we are tired. And so the balance is be committed.
Yeah.
But not to the point where you're going to be committed on a hold, right? Because commitment means knowing when to hold and knowing when to fold. That for me is the balance. My job is this is what I want to do. These are my goals. I'm going to plant the seeds and do everything I can. But the worst thing I can do is grab something that's growing a little bit and pull it out and go, why are you taking so long? So I have to leave it and have the wisdom to leave things and give it some time. So I think for me, commitment also means if I'm committed to it, I'm not going to hurt myself or other people by forcing things before their time. So that's the balance that I've learned. And I just love that I've learned how to allow. And the tool that I use is the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, allowing things to grow, the courage to change the things I can, watering it, planting the seed in the first place, and the wisdom to know the difference when to hold and when to fold. That's my final word. Yours?
Well, the knowing process, I really believe that you have to reflect and be self-aware, know your limits, know your balance, right? So to become more self-aware can change a whole lot of things in your life.
Absolutely.
Including your commitment level.
So the bottom line is commitment is great. It's a great tool to help you accomplish things in life. There's also balance. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. Fired Up Friday.
Fired Up Friday. It's always wonderful to have you in studio, Cynthia. Thank you for this particular show number 809 on commitment. Next week, please tune in on Tuesday. I have a very special guest, Akuyo Graham. She was here before to do our series on It's Not Black and White, or Is It? But she has this beautiful nonprofit foundation called Spirit Awakening. They're doing their annual fundraiser. She's going to come on helping incarcerated youth who have, who have a big need for encouragement in that art program. And she's coming on Tuesday. So if you would like to come back then, please do. In the meantime, remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace. Now go and have the best weekend ever.
Bye.
Bye.